Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel, T.C.B. the Country Boy. I got this video clip from Be Real, and it talks about Ice Cube and him and his group having a beef over Ice Cube stealing their songs, stealing their hooks, stealing their phrases, stealing their lines and stuff like that. And he goes into detail and about how he confronted him and all this other stuff, and the beef that arose because of it back in the day. So I don't know, man. Here's the deal: is Ice Cube a thief and steals people's shit, or is he straight up? I don't know. Let's ask Be Real and see what he's got to say about it. Anyway, here we go. Let's check this out.
You know, we were working on our third album, which was Temple of Boom. And right at this time, he was doing the Friday movie. Originally, I was supposed to be in that movie, but our manager fucked around and booked dates for us, you know, in Europe. So I couldn't be in the movie. So,
who are you supposed to be in that movie?
I was supposed to be the Mexican homie that fucking smoked Chris Tucker's character out with the fucking sherm stick.
Angel Dust guy?
Yeah, I was supposed to be the Angel Dust guy. So I wasn't able to play that. So to make it up to Cube, because, like, you know, I looked at Cube like one of my fucking homies. You know, I was at his wedding, the whole shit. I kicked it with him. Aside from any recording stuff, aside from any touring stuff, this guy was my friend, you know. And you know, I felt bad about it. So I said, hey, you know, I can't be in the fucking movie. My manager fucked up. I apologize, but, you know, we'll give you some music for the movie if you want. And he's like, oh hell yeah, you know. So we made this joint called Roll 'Em Up, Light 'Em Up. And when we had finished the song, I mean, we squeezed it in between working on our album. So we kind of just took time to record that song. And when we were done with it, we asked Cube to come down and listen to it to make sure that he liked it before we submitted it, because we didn't want to give him something that he didn't like. You know, it's Ice Cube, for fuck's sake. You know, we wanted to give him something that he felt strongly about, because he was a fan of Cypress Hill. He was a big fan of Cypress Hill, and you know, he pretty much upped our game in the sense that a lot of people knew about us because he would go telling people about us. You know what I'm saying? So we felt like obligated to give him a good song. So we asked him to come down to check the song, and he liked it. And, you know, as a lot of artists do, when you have another artist in the studio who's a trusted friend, you're like, hey bro, you know, we've been working on our fucking album. You want to hear a couple of songs, you know? And he was like, oh hell yeah, let's do it. So we played him like 3-4 songs. The last song we played him was Throw Your Set in the Air, which was set to be our single. And he really liked that song. And he was like, hey man, what are you guys gonna do with that song? Let me have that song for the movie. And if we had thought about it more clearly back then, thinking back, we should have gave him the song. Not give it to him to record, but give it to him like he asked, because he liked the song so much. He probably would have made that a single. But we, you know, Sony felt strongly about us putting that out as our single. So, you know, we told him, nah man, you know, we'd like to give it to you, but fuck, this is gonna be our lead single. And he was like, oh man, yeah, I understand. Can you play it one more time? And we played it one more time, and we took off on tour a number of months later, and our homies were calling us, you know, from home, letting us know that, you know, asking us actually if we had given that Throw Your Set song to Ice Cube. We're like, nah, we didn't give him that song. What are you talking about? And they're like, well, we just heard it on the radio. And we're like, how could you just hear it on the radio? We haven't even turned this fucking record, you know, it's not out yet for anybody to hear. And he was like, nah man, he recorded the song. And you know, we were confused. So when we got home, I finally heard the song, and it was not the same subject matter. You know, he didn't write about what we wrote about. He wrote about something completely different, but what the chorus was a variation of what our chorus was. Our shit was throw your set in the air, wave it around like you just don't care. Where his chorus was, oh yeah, throw your neighborhood in the air like you don't care. And we already knew that was fucking our chorus when we heard that shit. So a couple things happened, and then eventually, you know, it all just snowballed into the beef. You know what I mean? We felt like he wasn't being genuine with us when we talked about it, and then
what was the reaction when y'all talked to him about it?
Well, the reaction initially was, you know, Sendog and Muggs went on the radio and dissed the fuck out of him. You know, they were like, oh man, he's a biter and blah 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 and this and that. And once again, after that, we went on tour. We were, fuck, where were we? Actually, no, he was on tour this time. We were recording an album, but they had went in to talk to Big Boy or the Baker Boys or something on Power 106. And Muggs and Sendog called him out on the bite. And, you know, I got a call at 3 in the morning from Cube. He was in South Africa. And he hit me up. He goes, hey man, you know, you guys, I heard you guys were popping shit. I said, well, you know, the guys feel like you stole our shit, man, you know, and this was the reaction. And he goes, man, you know, I wouldn't steal from my friends, man. I mean, I love you guys, man. You know, I'm a big fan of you guys. I love you guys. I wouldn't steal from my friends. And I said, you know, I understand, you know, it's all good. And he's like, you know, shit like this happens in hip hop. You know, people come up with similar choruses, and, you know, I don't know what to say, but I didn't steal it from y'all. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me talk to the other homies and try to square this away, because I wanted to believe him. I mean, this is one of my favorite rappers. This is one of my fucking homies. This is somebody that, you know, I looked at as, you know, the guy to inspire me to make me a better rapper here on the West Coast. He was like the best out here, you know what I'm saying? So it was hard for me to like deal with that. So, you know, there was a situation where he came down, or he asked me to come down to a studio even after all this shit, because Muggs and Sen weren't really buying into it. And me, I was like, you know, I got caught in it because he was like, I was closer to him than they were, you know what I'm saying? And so I went down, and he was working on a project called Caution, and there was a couple lines in there that he wanted me to come say. He didn't want to sample them because, you know, Sony was trying to charge too much for a Cypress Hill sample on that song. So he asked me to come down to say a couple words. So as I'm saying these words, there's a part in the Caution verse where there was words from Throw Your Scent in the Air that we created. Nobody had used them yet on any records, like Los Scandalous, California, and little terminology within that Throw Your Scent song that eventually got out there. He took those words and put them in the Caution song, and after he had just said that he didn't bite our shit. So when I heard those words, I was like, man, he fucking straight lied to my face. You know, I was like, because if he hadn't bit us, why are these words in there? And I must have made some sort of expression or something, and you know that, and I had to go make a phone call to my manager after that. They had called me while I was doing the shit. So I walked out of the room, and I came back to redo it. I said, hey, let me get that back one time. I could do it better. As I'm listening down on the verse now, those words are no longer in the fucking song.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
The engineer had muted those fucking phrases out of the song because I think he figured that I recognized them.
Wow.
So at that point I was like, all right, you know, I couldn't believe that it was a coincidence at that point, because here are fucking words that realistically, and this is, you know, if you look at it, Caution and Throw Your Scent in the Air, those two records put out terminology that people started using eventually in If You Were From Cali. And it's something, it's petty and shit like that, but for us as an artist, when you create something and somebody tells you that they didn't steal it, you know, and then you find out they do, that's a fucking big deal to you. So we decided, okay, it's time for us to call him out. And as much as it pained me to do it, I had to, because Cypress Hill, we were at a point where we were never ever gonna let ourselves look weak to no one. Not you know, not to anyone, even if it was Ice Cube. You know, we knew that he had a history of bodying people on wax, you know what I'm saying? But we were motherfuckers that we knew that we could body people on wax too. So we were like, okay, well, we're gonna have to just take our chances and call him out, because we can't be made to look like we bit him. It just, you know, that just ain't gonna sit well. So we put out No Rest for the Wicked, and immediately that got to him. Then he put out the West Side Connection. They did 2 songs, King of the Hill and something else. I can't remember the other shit, but King of the Hill was like the bigger deal out of them. And then we eventually put out Ice Cube Killer, which was, we didn't put it out commercially, we put it out underground, because, you know, obviously we didn't want to, you know, we had already put out a record out there. This wasn't on the album. We didn't have another album coming out, so we didn't want to like put it out as a single, and we should have, but we didn't. So we put that shit out underground, and we made sure that he heard it. And then just stuff started happening, and you know, depends on who you ask, won that shit. You know, obviously we feel we came up on the better end of that, and I think a lot of people recognize that we did. Some people that love Ice Cube would say he shit on us, you know, so I guess it's a matter of opinion, you know what I'm saying? But in the end, fortunately, man, we were able to, you know, years later, like, you know, get down and resolve that fucking beef and squash it and become friends again. And we eventually worked on a record with Shaq, then eventually on a record with Warren G. We still haven't done nothing like together on our own yet, but you know, it felt good to let that beef go, you know what I mean? Because it was somebody that I respected, and somebody that I admired and felt like was a good friend and shit. But you know, sometimes shit like that has to happen, you know, and unfortunately it had to happen between us two, you know.
Wow. You know, that is not the first time that I have run across something that claims that Ice Cube steals people's shit. I don't know. Have y'all heard anything like that before? This is like the second or third time that I've heard that he stole beats and lyrics from other people. I don't know. Is that true, or is this guy full of shit? Y'all let me know. I don't know what's up. All right. Thanks, y'all. See y'all later.